My name is Adrie Bekker. I'm a neonatologist from Stellenbosch University in Cape Town, South Africa.
I'm Angela Dramowski. I'm an infectious diseases pediatrician working with Prof. Bekker in Cape Town at Tygerberg Hospital and Stellenbosch University. Neonatal sepsis remains a major killer of newborn infants in Africa. And in fact, the newborn period or first 28 days of life is the most critical and dangerous period in a baby's life. But surprisingly, very few clinical trials are conducted in newborns, given the many challenges in doing clinical research in this population. They also have very different physiology and rapid changes in the way the liver excretes and metabolizes various drugs. And so studying new antibiotics and old antibiotics in whom data is limited is absolutely critical to inform the correct dosing to give the best possible outcomes for neonates affected by sepsis.
When you give a drug to a baby and you actually measure the level of the blood in the baby, and you need to make sure that that level is not too high or too low, because if the level is too high, you can perhaps see toxicity in the baby, so some bad adverse events can happen. And if the level is too low, you may not be able to kill the organism or actually treat the infection that the baby has. So it's incredibly important when doing studies like this in neonates to ensure that you give the exact correct dose to be able to achieve the correct level in the baby to manage the sepsis.
Through SNIP-AFRICA, we hope to conduct clinical trials, both for old as well as new antibiotic agents, which are essential to combat ever-increasing rates of antimicrobial resistance in hospitalized newborns.
One of the exciting drugs that we will be studying is colistin, which is actually quite an old antibiotic that's not commonly been used, but it's one of the reserve antibiotics that's still effective against very drug-resistant organisms. And we see that in low and middle income countries, and especially in neonates, we often have a problem with gram-negative organisms that are frequently resistant to many different antibiotics. And colistin is one of these drugs that we have available and that is currently being used, but without a lot of evidence related to the dosing. To be honest, there was actually only one study ever performed in neonates looking at the drug levels of colistin, and all the guidelines are based on this. So we are hoping that within SNIP-AFRICA, we can generate some more data for colistin to really help and effectively treat babies with gram-negative sepsis who have no other options available to them.